Today I will talk about Civil War. So Civil War is a dystopian war film directed by Alex Garland, and it tells a story about a group of journalists who is trying to capture this civil war event, this awful situation. So as an audience, you need to relate to this group of journalists, and as they travel from point A to point B to point C, witnessing this awful events, as an audience, you need to see that for yourself. And our points are taken from these eyes of journalists. This group of journalists, mainly the main lead of this film is portrayed by Kirsten Dunst, but other than her, there is also one other character that is a very young journalist, an amateur journalist, and she acts like us. So, witnessing this event, it shocks her to the core, and so are we. That is the most visceral effect that this film gives to the audience. It gives you a glimpse of how America would look like if there were another civil war. That is the feeling that I get from this film. So, the performances highlighted by Kirsten Dunst and also the actors who portrayed this young journalist were pretty great, The cast here is solid. Especially there is Jesse Plemons, who plays an army soldier. He is in here just for one scene, but that one scene, that only scene that he is in, is very impactful. He is absolute scene stealer here. He is a scene stealer in the trailer. He is in the movie also. How about the ways of visualizing this civil war? Well, this film I thought was gonna be a big scope film, but it turns out this film just follows a group of journalists, and that's it. That's the limit of your eyes in this film. That is the limit of range. You are watching a civil war, but it is a pretty small scope until later on in Washington DC, where things start to get crazier and bigger, and that is a really climactic moment for this film. But other than that though, this film is very slow. It focuses a lot on characters, it focuses a lot on situations, and most of the combat sequences here, they are realistic, they are visceral. But the thing is, there aren't a lot of combat sequences spread out in this film. This is not a really back-to-back action movie. So, do not expect a lot of action. Yes, they are saving the action towards the end, but by that moment, the action really doesn't land. Yes, there are big scope action sequences there, but it really doesn't land. So, the performances are great. The action sequences are really minimal because the focus is not there. But I think as a civil war film that is trying to capture this madness, this film kind of fails. There is some big issue with the pacing that slows this film down terribly. The first half of this film is basically character building, and that's fine. That's fine, but at this point, you still wanted to see outside the limit. How are things in a bigger scope? You are intrigued about that, but the thing is, you didn't get that sense of scope until towards the end of this film. So, the pacing here could have been better, could have been much better. So, the final product, I think it's a overrated film. The thing is, there's some big pacing issues. The action, even though it doesn't focus on that much, but you as an audience still want to look at the situation of the outside of this point of view from this journalist. That's not enough for this scope of a film. So, I will give Civil War a 6 out of 10. This is, for me, this is a really letdown, because I was expecting a large scope of events, While you get that near the end of this film, the path towards the end is just very slow. That is a really big letdown for me. So 6 out of 10. If you have seen Civil War, tell me everything you like, everything you didn't like. And also, does the pacing bother you? Because it really bothered me while I was watching. Drop everything in the comment section and see you on the next video.